Last week, while I was in Los Angeles, my dad took me on a tour of the Palisades, the areas that had been devastated by the Los Angeles wildfires in January. My dad grew up in the Palisades and he lives there now. Luckily, his neighborhood was spared, but in many parts of the Palisades, most of the homes have been burnt down.
That streets are 90%, 95% gone.
Yeah.
The thing that I noticed was how devastated it still looked. It didn't look like much progress had been made. I mean, I had seen that some lots have been cleared, which is the first step in terms of reconstructing housing. You have to get rid of all of the debris and all of the burnt down materials, the hazardous waste. And that process is still going on. But there were many homes where it seemed like nothing had been cleared, and there were still signs saying hazardous materials do not enter. Another type of sign that I saw was one that said, "This home will rise again." That's the owner saying to the world that they do intend to come back. They do intend to rebuild their homes with them in it. But those signs, they weren't very common. I only saw like maybe one of them for every 20 homes. So it seems like most people aren't, declaring that they're going to come back, which says to me that the Palisades are probably going to look very, very different once the Palisades is rebuilt. It's probably going to come back higher end because it costs a lot of money to redevelop, and investors and developers want to see a return on that investment, especially when they're buying land that is so valuable because of its proximity to the ocean and to Los Angeles. But it's probably not going to come back with those same residents. The kinds of people that are going to be moving into these new developments are going to be completely different than the residents who have lived there, for decades. I know from hearing stories from my dad, the Palisades has changed a lot since the 1960s.
Where all the tech bros and young families trying to get a foothold in the Palisades, they would buy a lot, and then they'd build right up to the edges of the lot and build a big mansion on it.
Was this neighborhood around when you were a kid?
Yeah, but it wasn't all built up. It was just modest homes.
And the Palisades are going to keep changing and evolving. And one thing I know for certain is that this place will be built back because it is such a desirable location. And even with a changing climate, even with all of the danger, people are going to want to live here.